What's the difference between a Dillon 650 and the brand new Dillon 750? You're about to find out. Hey guys, Rob here from Hunt Shoot Off Road, and today we're going to compare the brand new XL750 and Dillon XL650. Look at some of the differences and the improvements that they've made between the two machines. So we'll look at the new primer system. We will look at the new method for swapping out the primer system between small and large. We'll also look at the new camming system, so the way the shell plates rotate. There's supposedly some improved indexing on that as well to stop spillage on some of the cases. And there's also the new spring stop. There's a second spring stop now instead of just the one. And also the changed and modified, what do they call it? The spring-loaded case retainer or something like that. You'll see it when we get to it. And there's also apparently increased ram length, or the ram opening, so that you can load longer cases. So look, let's get stuck into it. But before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button down in this corner here. And if you want to see more videos for the Dillon 750 and lots of other reloading videos and full drive stuff, I've got plenty more to come. So let's get excited. Let's get stuck straight into it. And here's the new finger that you can pull the shell out from. Look, I can't see any real gains of improvement unless the previous ones were breaking. I can't see the other one pulled out just fine. Both got a grub screw keeping it in there, so I'm not sure of the known issues that was causing. So unless there was some known issue, yeah, there's no real difference there. I don't think that's an improvement worth noting. So the camming system is radically improved. It is now, there is now bearing here, and this bearing is rolling on that nylon, whereas in the 650 it was nylon on nylon. I'm assuming the product was nylon. I mean, it could be in any number of things. But what's interesting is that this block, this is an aftermarket improvement that people were manufacturing, was available for purchase off several different reloading sites and eBay, and you could buy this and modify it. So it looks like Dillon's had a look at what people are doing to their presses, and then have gone and updated the press with this change themselves. Then you'll also see there's now this secondary stop. So this will actually come to, the ram will come to rest on the top of this new system, and this spring is taking up some of the slack. Now what I think the concept of this is, with the added spring in the other location, which is up the back on the new priming system, you can see there, that's the second spring, which is in a very similar location to the 650. I think that makes you pull up slower at the very end, which is when it's just starting to click into the index a little bit. So maybe that's to help improve the indexing as well. And maybe that's the biggest change in the indexing, is that spring, but you know, I'm not entirely sure there. So you can see there's a little bit of difference. The actual shell plate moving pin is now up the back instead of up the front here, and the ball has moved from about there to about here. Other than that, I can't see any obvious difference as to why it might cam slightly different, like the indexing might be different. It would appear, other than the fact that it's changed around, as far as what's happening under the shell plate, there's not much difference. Okay, now we're looking at the priming system, and this is single-handedly probably the greatest improvement on the system. So no longer does it have that like disc style magazine, or you know, the cylinder with like 20 primers in it. It's just the one primer on a similar system to a 550. I don't have a 550 to make a comparison to, but it's similar, very similar style system to that is on an RCBS rock chucker, where you've got the button and you can push it in yourself from the front, and a few other single stage systems that do have that style. So you can see here there's a live primer. It hasn't gone into a case. It's now still on the priming arm, and it's now retracting back into the magazine tube of primers. So it comes back out, and there it is, ready to go into the next case. And I'll just remove that case. And look, there it is. It's still there, the same primer. So unlike, as you can see on the 650, the spent primer falls, sorry, not the spent primer, but the unused primer falls down the little ramp, and quite often these fly out and go on the ground, so much so that there are aftermarket ramps to try and catch the primers that continually fall out if you choose not to load that primer into a case, because A, you've run out of cases, or B, you've pulled the case off for some reason. So that, I think, is a significant improvement, and that is probably an awesome thing. I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. I think that that's fantastic. So I got like 6 primers in there, and I've still got 6 primers in there. So I don't know if I can get that out. Yes, I can. You know, so now it's going to go in, load another one, come back out. So that is just absolutely awesome. I think that those of you that probably used a 650 for some time probably had a bit of a bone to pick with that, and I could see that being a substantial improvement over the operation of the previous system. So unlike the previous system on the 650, which had the nylon block here that activated that arm, hopefully you can see that in the video there, it now uses this rod, and as you pull the handle down, the rod pushes on this one here, which remains still, pulling the lever back. You can see this spring here coming out as the I don't know, the thing comes in to engage to pull one out, and there you go. So very simple in design, as was the 650, but that's what allows it to do this. And there's none of that worrying about the disc rotating and not lining up, which could be a problem on some of the 650s. At least when we were just doing a quick demo, that was an issue that we had, where the disc wasn't quite indexing correctly and wasn't lining up and allowing us to rotate through. Let's have a look at changing the priming system over. Now, just like on the 650, the Dillon 750, you do have to change over the inner on the magazine tube. Now you just have to crack these nuts at the bottom here, but before you do that, you might want to pull the press open and just unhook this spring, and then you can unscrew these with your fingers. And I think Dillon have done themselves a bit of an injustice here, because I think due to the pain in the neck that changing the priming system was, people end up buying multiple presses, but they've really put the customer first here and made it extremely easy to change from small to large primers. So here we go, that one's out. You saw that one had a gold end. Now we got the large primer, which has a silver end. Oh, I've just moved the bit of nylon there. So we'll put that in there, put that down, get the screws again, do them back up with our fingers. Got the rod here on the right side of that. We'll just nip these up so they don't come loose on us, and we'll grab the spring from underneath and hook that over there. I'm just going to hold that until I lift the press to allow that to go back under, and that's it. It is that easy. There's nothing else to do. No taking off the shell plate, no swapping pins or anything like that. It is simply boom, boom, you're done. It is really quick. I'm really impressed. So unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to measure the full stroke of the ram on this Dillon 650. I had forgotten to take my micrometer, and I haven't had the opportunity. I've tried to put it out on Facebook, try and get a few people to measure it for me. I had one guy take a measurement for me, but he got a longer length than I did. So look, one of the differences between the Dillon 650 and the 750 is the 650, the maximum cartridge it can reload is a .458 Magnum Winchester, which has an overall length of 85.85 millimeters, and the new Dillon 750 with its improved stroke of the ram, with some changes to the camming on the handle there, can apparently reload a 38 Lapua, which has an overall length of 93.5 millimeters, and obviously that doesn't include if you decide to walk that projectile out into the lands of your firearm. However, I think if you're reloading the likes of a 338 Lapua, you're probably a precision shooter, and you probably shouldn't be using a Dillon 750 or even a 650 for that type of operation. So that's probably sort of relatively insignificant comparison between the two presses. Hey guys, that's it. I've shown you all the differences that I know that there is on the press, just from my analysis of the two different presses and the documentation that Dillon has put out there. And that's about it, guys. I guess the question is, should you upgrade from a 650 to a 750? Look, unless that priming system is causing you a lot of grief, or you're having a lot of live primers fall on the ground because you're taking cases off or missing cases, you know, really that's the only significant improvement, is that priming system. I don't know whether the new system actually primes better, but I'm just talking about the difference in the way it treats a live primer if you don't have a case in there. But look, certainly I don't think there's a need to upgrade from a 650 to a 750, but I think if you're going to buy, then definitely I would look at buying a 750 over a 650, given you probably got to buy it on the used market. And Dillon's, you see them on some of the places, I can't mention because of YouTube's firearms policies. They want near new prices for a second-hand 650 anyway, so if you're going to pay near new prices, might as well get a 750. But I guess you might see a slight decrease in the price of them now that they've been made obsolete by the 750. So you can't upgrade a 650 to the 750, but they are looking at in the future providing a skeleton 750, so you can move all your stuff from your 650 over that is compatible to the 750. But why you'd want to do that, I don't know, because at the price you almost pay, you know, by the time you get a caliber conversion kit and the press, you know, it's nearly the same price just to buy a second press. So that's not entirely true. But look guys, that's it. Give us a like, smash that subscribe button, hit that knockout bell so you get notified of the next video. If you've got any questions, got things that you want to see, hit us up in the comments below and I'll endeavour to answer all your questions, make another video, get the content out there for you guys, answer the questions. And until next time guys, get out there, get them big boars, get outside, go shooting, have fun, and then see you in the next one.